Afternoon guys, I am so blessed because I'm fortunate enough to get some fabulous guitars in this workshop, and I've had some fabulous guitars in over the years, and this one is no exception, and it is stunning. Let me show you. There's weight, no weight relief in this, just how I like guitars, heavy as. Look at this. It's a Gibson. I've never seen anything like this. It's amazing. It all ends up amazing. And you're saying, well, why is it in there? Well, the nut slot's a bit too low. In fact, they're a lot too low. And the strings are buzzing everywhere. I'm just going to look at the frets, and the frets are pretty flat. So, first thoughts, definitely needs a new nut. That nut's got to come out again. They're a bitch to get out these nuts sometimes because they sit in a trough. You can't just knock them out like you can with most of them, just give it a gentle tap and it comes off the back. These are sat in. It's like, have a look here, and they're sat in a trough or a trench. So you have to be careful as out to get them out. And they can be a right bind sometimes, and I've, on a couple of occasions, you're going to cause some damage getting those out. So, but it's got to come out. So we're going to take that out, we're going to replace it. Now I'm also going to have a look at the frets, because these frets are a bit flat. And I don't know if that's probably down to play or wear, I don't know. Some of them do come with flat frets like that. Frets are supposed to be domed like this, or crowned. So what do I think? Because I know it needs a new nut, I'm definitely going to do that. I can do that, I can give it a setup, put a new nut on and leave the frets as they are. But would we consider recrowning these frets, or are they meant to be like that? Because the frets are about 2.3 millimeters wide, but the tops, there's no crown to the top like that, which is how it should be, because you want your string touching as little amount as possible of the fret. Here you've got frets, you'll be touching 2 mil of fret when you anytime you finger a note, and that's going to cause fret buzz. So do I suggest recrowning these frets? Do I even suggest a refret, or do I just set it up as is? I'm not going to know until I've got strings off. Just have a look here. These strings are touching, yeah, they're touching fret 1 just about. There's not enough room for them to vibrate. No room for them to vibrate there. So we definitely need a new nut. I've let frets like this go sometimes. I've talked to her and I says, look, they ideally should be domed instead of flat on the top. And on a couple of occasions people haven't wanted to spend the money, which I don't know why. I don't know why people won't spend £300 on a refret when it gives you 30 years of new neck. You know, it gives you another 30 years of play, but hey ho. But I won't know really until I've got strings off, so I'm going to, for the time being, we're definitely going to replace that nut. I'm going to find out whether they need a black nut or they want me to replace it with a bone nut. I would imagine they want a black one, so we're going to have to go with something I imagine from Graftech, and we'll go with a man-made derivative of bone. I'm sure we'll find something for that there. I'll give it a measure in a bit and I will find out. But again, the frets, I can't really show you with the strings on. I can stand the guitar up, and where are we? We're here. But these frets, they are as wide as they are, the tops are flat. There should be that dome there, but the tops are like that. Can you see in there? So we'll have to see. We'll see what money they want to spend. It's a new client. Stunning guitar. I'd be very interested to find out more about this. It looks absolutely fabulous. But there you go. That's all I can tell you for now. Good afternoon, fret friends. Right, now I have been away from the workshop for a couple of weeks with a problem with a wound on my leg. But I'm feeling quite a lot better, and it's not that I couldn't work while I had this leg wound, which I've still got. It's that I had to have my leg raised every day to help healing. So less about that and more about this guitar. So I went and bought what I thought were the correct nuts, or what was the correct nuts. In fact, I bought 2 of them because it makes sense to have a spare one in stock, just in case. Well, for 2 reasons: one, in case you knacker one, or 2, you absolutely know you're going to need one down the line somewhere. So we managed to knock this one out really cleanly. I'm sure I did. There you go. Came out nice and clean, look at that. and we're going more or less like for like. I'm going to cut this one out of its box when I get the right knife. I buy these, I don't have knives, I have scalpels me. Probably because I'm a guitar doctor. There you go. Bad dad joke there. So we're going to take this out of its packet, I hope. Yeah, nice, useless. Maybe I should change the blade. There you go. And I would imagine it's not going to fit straight away. So we'll look at the size and the size. I'll tell you what, it might be a bit too tall, but it should be. I hope it's too tall. Yes, it's a good, almost a millimetre taller than the old one. That is very good news. Now we've already got the strings spaced, and that basically is a like for like. It's not quite a drop in, it is wider than the guitar, so I'm going to file down the edges. I'm not going to take it to the sander because I can absolutely guarantee you that I would sand too much off. So we're going to see how much wider it is. Probably a millimetre. Might be an idea if I measure that. Bear with me, folks. I do have a tool for the job. I always have a tool for the job. And you wouldn't believe the amount of money I've spent on tools over the years. Don't know who that is. Oh, here we go. That battery's dying in that. Put a brand new battery in there last week. The rubbish. I got them off eBay. I bet I paid £2 for 10. And this is what you get when you pay £2 for 10 batteries. You get batteries that last a day, if that. So these are these button batteries. These are made by, I'm just going to bin them. These things, Maxells, just crap. But I also went and bought some, I paid for these, £5 for 4 Duracells. Not faffing about now, sunshine. Oh no, matey boy, we've got the good stuff. You can get one of that. Why don't these things ever rip open proper? It's rubbish. Do not cut your finger off or out. Seriously. It's got to be an easy way to go in here. Surely we just pop up them, but no, we don't. I don't get it. So brand new Duracell. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about this. Fantastic, innit? Now, do they go in that way or do they go in that road? We'll soon find out. Won't go in wrong. Will they go in wrong? Oh, it's gone in. Turn it on. I must be wrong because it's not doing out. And there's me thinking they won't go. Oh, hang on. Let's try taking the label off. Oh my golly goodness. Put it back. Right, where are we? Should go in that road. There you go. We're in right. So get on the old millimetres. Well, we're on millimetres there, look. Get it all zeroed out. Now let's have a quick measure. The nut is saying 43.79. It's a nice measurement, that is. I should have took strings off. I'm trying to save the strings, you see. Too tight to put a new set on. And the width of that is 42.63. So 1.1 millimetres got to come off there. So I'll take it off each side of the nut. We did see 43.69, didn't we? So I will gently hand sand or hand carve half a mil off each side of this nut. And once that's done, I'm going to wang it in and I'm going to reshape the top while it's on the guitar and glued in. I'm going to glue it. All I'm going to do to glue it in is I'm just going to put a little dab of, I would normally use some wood glue, some tight bond, because that then, if you ever need to get it out again, you just tap it and it'll come out quite easily. But I'm actually going to go with super glue, just in the middle there, probably on each edge, a little blob of each side, because they're not that difficult to get out. That batch can go in the bin. So let me crack on and get this done. I will have, you may see from where you are, while I pull out this gubbins here, you'll see that I've got a flat surface right here, and I've got sanding paper on there, and all I've got to do is take a little off each side. Like so. And I can do final shaping in a little while. So all I'm going to do is keep doing this. I'm just going to keep checking the width. And I'll come back to the guitar Not worried about final shaping just yet. I'll come back to the guitar, I'll see where it is on the edge. Right, there you go, it's pretty good on this side. That's actually pretty good. I just need to take a little bit off that side. And then I can do the final shaping. I can do it with a coarse file. Can you see where I am there? So I'm not looking too bad there. That's on some 240 grit paper. And we'll go back, we'll have a little look. We may be pretty much close to where we need to be. I mean, that there is, we're good that side, we're good both sides there. I'm quite liking that. Take a little bit more off this side, and I'm liking where we are. I'll just eyeball each side. I will do final shaping in a moment with a file. And I think we're just about where we need to be with this. So let's go there. That, my friends, is beautiful. In fact, we're a tiny bit inside on each side. I'm well happy with that. That is exactly where I need to be. So, shove that back in there. Off camera, I'm just going to shape the edges and we're going to glue this in as it is. I'm going to take the strings off because they're just in the way. It's all right trying to save strings, but when they get in your way like this, you're not saving anything, are you? You just, if they're in the way, they're in the way. Just get them out of the way. Just do the job proper. It's because I want to get this done, so the client who bought it in can come and fetch a couple of guitars she's got in, because there's one really special guitar that she's been waiting for. It's an endorsed guitar. It's an endorsement, and it's had a little bit of work on it. She's really, really excited to get it back, with good reason. It's the same girl who bought this in. So I'm trying to get it all done so she can come and collect today. Otherwise you've got to wait till tomorrow. And you know, it's nearly Christmas, guys. Let's make people happy every day, not just Christmas Day. So there you go, they're out of the way. That makes it a lot easier for me now to jiggle this to where I need it. And there you go. That's probably a little bit inside where I want to be. Just measure it with this one. If it's the same as the other one, I don't mind. It is, it's exactly the same width as the other one. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to shape it and we'll get this glued in, and I'll come back to you in a little while. So I've got the new nut shaped and glued in. Now, before I move on, I'm going to recommend we look at these frets down the line, because you see, fret tops, I've mentioned this before, should be crowned like that. The tops of these frets are flat. So what I'm doing with this, all I'm charging for here is I'm doing a 50 quid setup, regular setup, not touching the frets, and I'm installing a new nut. So that including the nut, and my time again is 50 quid. Now, I think these frets are flat, too flat. It's very, very slightly curved on top, but we're too flat. I think down the line this is going to cause buzzing. It's going to be back in, it's going to need a fret level. If the frets get much lower, it might need a refret. I think there's enough there to do a level. But when we level frets, we don't just level them. We do level them so they're all level with each other. Then we've got to rebuild that crown, because the crown is that way and the string comes this way. And it comes across the top. We need the string hitting just a thin part of the top of a fret. And that's how we eradicate fret buzz. If you start getting fret buzz, chances are you've got a couple of flat spots on your frets, and we're going to need recrowning, or we may even need leveling. I'm going to get my fret rocker in a minute. I'm just going to go over these frets with a fret rocker and check that they are level. But again, all I'm going to do with this guitar for now is I'm just going to set it up from a new nut, give it a proper setup. If he only decides that he wants a fret level, I'm going to deduct the setup money from that job, because it's a £135 job to level and recrown and polish the frets. It's a 4-hour job. What I'll do is I'll knock the 50 quid off, so I'll do it for him for 85 quid somewhere down the line. I can't say fairer than that. So no one's going to be losing out here. Well, maybe I'm a little, but that doesn't matter. I'm happy to do it that way, if that's what the client wants. The client might just say, no, I'm quite happy with the frets as they are, they will do me. It's just my personal opinion, these are too flat across the top. They're going to need crowning, they're going to need reprofiling. So, first we need to check that the neck is straight. I'm going to go across with fret rocker and we're going to check if there are any high frets. Now first I need the correct notched straight edge. This will be the one. Trusty GMI tools no longer really exist. I know the guy that makes these and is also the owner and a designer of Halon guitar parts. Now you go look at Halon guitar parts, they are as good as anything in the world. He precision makes the tools, the parts himself with a friend. He used to make tools. I've seen him make these. I've sold him loads of gear, and for me selling loads of gear has given me a lot of free stuff. I used to buy his gear from him for about 8 years, and now he just gives it me free because I've been such a great guy for his, there you go, just so good for his business. Now there you go, the neck is nowhere near straight. We've got a lot of backbone in there, so we're going to loosen the truss rod when I get the right key out. It's strange, isn't it? I've been here 4 months now, I'm still getting used to where everything is. I've got 4 different ones in here. Which one's PRS and which one's Gibson? This is Gibson one. So we're going to loosen the truss rod. That truss rod knot is not very clever. Someone's had a go at that with the wrong bit and it's chewed the ends off a little. Should be doing that on such a nice guitar as this. Now let's see where we are. Okay, that's good to see. With the truss rod loosened, the neck is now straight. Let's settle a little bit more. That is beautiful. You don't see that very often. In its natural state, with the truss rod loosened, the neck should be dead straight. Very, very rare you get that nowadays. Anyway, we have a straight neck, so let me grab my fret rocker. I'm just going to zip across. But what I am going to do is I'm going to set it up, even if it's got frets too high or too low, I'm going to set it up without touching the frets. I think these were pretty good when I checked them before. 4 ways, 4 different lengths on this, so we can check 3 frets at a time. And if we get a rock, these are precision straight edges. In fact, this is the most precision tool I've got. This again was made by Harris at GMI. And I have 2 of these in stock. I'll never need the second one because his tools are spot on. I've seen him make them. So, some of you will remember years back when I had a problem with one of these and it cost me 3 jobs and I had to redo each one at great expense. It cost me about £1,000 because the edges weren't precision straight as they should have been. And I stopped working with that company. I will tell you who the company was. It was in Portugal, Portuguese company called Guitars and Woods. And I had a big fallout with them, and they basically called me a liar. So I was very, what's the word? What's the right word for Christian when he's not being very Christian? Let's say abrasive, to say the least. But these frets are spot on for level. They don't need leveling, they just need recrowning, or what we call reprofiling. They're perfectly straight, so they're fantastic. So we've got no work to do there. I would like to real profile them, but I'm not doing anything. I'm going to let the guitar go back first. So what I am going to do is, I've got the knot one. All I need to do now is reshape the top of that knot. I can't shape the top of the knot until I've got the strings on and cut the slots to the right depth. But what I'm going to do before that is, we are going to clean the fingerboard. In fact, let's pull this out of the way with the strings on. We don't have to go too far away with it, we can just whiz it back there. Fabulous looking guitar this. It's very much a one-off, isn't it? It's beautiful. But what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my time, but I still want to get this done before I knock off today, so Libby can then come and pick up her guitar and this guitar. This guitar, I don't know who this belongs to. It's not hers, it's for someone, it may be for a relative of hers, I don't know, I imagine it is. But you see, it's the first time these people have come to me now. Great thing about this is once they've seen my work, they're going to want to come back. And I'll probably get all the guitars. This is great about meeting. This is great, again, about working with bands. Now, I've worked with a lot of bands over the years, and I still do, to some extent. But a lot of people have, I won't say stab me in the back, but a lot of band members, guitarists especially, are now setting up their own, setting up companies. I know quite a few guitarists who are doing setups for other people, and I'll tell you what, they're not good enough. They're not nowhere near good enough. We're not in my league. And I'm not saying I'm the best around here, but I'm in the top 1. It's why all the other people have disappeared. It's why Crazy Train's gone, Hardies have gone, music scene's gone. Now music scene used to send me work. In fact, he used to send me a lot of work. But the less I say about some of those people, the better, because there have been altercations, and I have had to put some people right, and that's as much as I'm going to say about it. But I'm still standing, and I've not had to hurt anyone, so that's great. But yeah, the thing is, I love working with bands because it gets you the most work. And me being a band member myself, you know, having 5 published albums out and what have you, I'm well known in the industry, and it's great to keep to have your name bandied about, but to keep yourself and keep your name right up there at the top of the tree. So the reason I've just done that is I'm going to spray the fingerboard with some mineral oil in a second. I'm just going to, let's put tools away. I'm a swine for this. I should always put the tools away straight away. Now that's got a Duracell in there. That should last forever now. Anyway, moving on. I can go in the bin. I did end up using the second nut, by the way. I cut the other one. I cut it a bit too much, so I've not quite wasted it. I'll use that on another guitar somewhere down the line. If I've got a freebie, someone wants a freebie or something, or maybe I'll get a narrower neck version. But anyway, that is on there. Now the reason, where's that knife? Here it is. Get that knife away. The reason I've just taped that up is I'm going to be spraying oil on my fingerboard. Normally I could just put some chamois around there and just you know, protect it and what have you. But I'm going to do even better when I find. I love these tea towels. My missus don't like these. I love these old-fashioned stripy tea towels we always used to get at school and what have you. I'm a stickler for tradition. It's like, since I've been with my wife's Canadian, she's been here 14 years now. We've been married 10 years. But she loves my little ways. Like, I've got a butter dish. Even when I didn't have butter, I wanted an old-fashioned style butter dish. And I've still got it. And it sits on the table in the kitchen, and I love it. And it has got butter in it, but I've actually stopped eating butter because I'm getting too fat. But I like stuff, I like traditional stuff, and I love these tea towels like this. It's like I still love the old stripy bed sheets if you can find them. You know, those with all different colour stripes. I love traditional stuff. But anyway, moving on, I digress. I'm going to spray this with some it's lemon oil. You know it's lemon oil, it's mineral oil. And all I'm going to do is I'll put everything down and protect it. I actually rub it on with my hand, but I just want to protect the guitar body and any of the surfaces I'm working on. Now that nut is glued on, so all I'm going to do now with this is I'm going to let this soak in 10 minutes. And this is going to do two things. It's going to release all the grease and the sweat and the crap off the fingerboard so I can wipe it off. But also I'm going to give this a little scrape with a Stanley blade just to get off all that gunk and unscow and filth that comes off your fingers, because you'd be surprised how much gets on the fingerboard and sinks into the wood. And this is also, again, it's going to slightly not feed the wood, but it's going to soak into a little bit, and it'll just stop it being brittle, because this, if you don't do this every 6 months, every year, whatever, this rosewood will really dry out, it'll turn brittle, and I've seen it crack, you know, and this will help it a lot. Just put enough moisture in there just to stop the surface drying out too much. You've seen it, you know what I mean, you know exactly what I mean, but it does help all that grime and crap lift out. So I'm going to leave that. In fact, I'm not going to leave it, I'm going to scrape it with a blade. So let me grab a blade. I remember where I put them. There you go. Got a Stanley blade right here. Just a Stanley blade, nothing else. And if there's any gunk and crap on here, I'm just going to help it off with this. I don't earn enough money, you know, for doing this. But let's have a look, see what sort of state this is in. And this is fingerboard scraping. And my mate Clive Burnage was into doing this. And there you go, look at that. That's not wood, that's crap off the fingerboard. So I'm going to scrape all that off. So I'm going to do all this off camera. I'm going to grab me some yucky kitchen roll. It's not yucky yet, but it's going to be. And I'm going to do this along the whole length of the deck. I'm going to wipe that off, look, that crud. Nasty stuff into it, and I'm going to do the whole neck, and once that's done I'm going to wipe it. Once it's wiped I'm going to give it another coat of oil, and I'm going to leave that on for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to wipe it all off again. And this is going to look beautiful, and all that crud will be off. It'll play really nice, and it'll be nice, and it'll smell nice, and it'll look nice. So this is going to take me a while. I was over at my friends yesterday, over at Danny and Nat's, Mr. Shalufia's, out in at Shepshed Way. And Nat was doing exactly the same thing on the necks, like this. She just actually refretted it, but she was giving it a good scrape like this. And yucky job, but you know, it's what we do, and it's great, and it's the satisfaction. And how good you feel after doing this. Cleaning up a guitar neck for someone, it's fantastic. You see it all still on top of the frets there. I'm going to wipe that off in a minute. So I'm going to crack on with this off camera. This is normal. I'm going to crack on with this off camera, get it all cleaned up, and we'll come back and we'll have it all nice, ready for strings. How's that for you? So I've just done the first run, and I'm wiping off the excess oil and wiping off the gunk still on the edge of the frets, and that's what you're seeing right here. And it's not a pretty sight, but it's got to be done. It's a very satisfying job, this. Very rewarding to do this and get all the crap off. So keep moving to a different side of the paper, different piece of paper, but you see it all coming on the tea towel there. And we're going to fold it over and carry on. I'm not done yet, I've got more bits to do on this. I've got another run yet, but at least it's been scraped now. I'm going to scrape it just away from that piece of chamois on the stand, because it's a piece of chamois I use all the time. I don't want everybody else's crap on my chamois leather. Anything that's gone on the floor or the side, I'd clear up. Right, there you go. Now look at that. This is just one fingerboard. There, and when I unfold it and show you what I got off in the first run, you're going to be flabbergasted. And there you go, look at all that. That's all off this guitar. And that's that crap. I'm just going to get rid of that. We'll grab another piece. There's the fingerboard. Treated and cleaned. You see why I put the tea towel there, don't you? So we'll give it a wipe. Got a brand new nut on there now. And then I'm going to give it another go. Just going to wipe it. And I'm going to re-oil it in a moment. If there's any bits I think I've missed, I'm going to redo them. Now you see why I tape everything up and protect everything. So that doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to do another quick spray, because most of this is going to stay on. I'm just going to wipe it off. And I'm going to leave it on, but not the amount I've got on there right now. Let that do its job for 5 minutes. I'm going to come and wipe it all off. Once it's wiped off, we can come back and restring the guitar. And I'll use old strings because they're in good condition. I'm not charging for strings anyway. And then go back with my recommendation. And it may play fine for months, years even with the frets that flat. I don't know, but it starts pinging and buzzing and zinging, we're going to re-profile those frets. Basically where they're flat, we're going to re-crown them. Right, there you go, look at that. It's just a fresh piece. And all I want to do with this is just leave a thin film on there. See, still not done. So I'm going to leave that 5 minutes. I'm going to come back and I'm going to chuck this paper away. I'm going to wipe off all of the residue, and then I'm going to clean all this area and we're going to get some strings back on. So see you in a few minutes. Okay, friends, we have the new nut on there. I'm going to zoom in just a mite. There you go. Because we need to cut the depth of the nut slots, and we need to cut the nut slots to the right angle, because these middle two, they come straight on the nut. I don't like that. I like to cut them toward the tuning head. So we're going to slightly angle those round if we can. Now, I do have a specific set of measurements I like to use just to get the ball rolling. And when I cut it, what I have done is I have the bridge set to where I need it to be. I have the height of the strings at the 12th fret set where I want them to be, and then I can take a measurement from the top of the fret to the bottom of the string at the 1st fret. And for cutting purposes, and this is just my measurements, and I measure in millimetres because we measure in metric in England, not imperial like we do in America. The gap from the top of the fret to the bottom of the string on this side on the 1st fret is 0.3 millimetres, and on the far side 0.2 millimetres. We'll bring those down lower later on once we've got the grooves cut, but that's where I like to start. So what I need to do first is I need to check the relief in my neck first, because I've got the height of the 12th fret just about how I like it. 1.75 this side, 1.5 that side. That's millimetres, and that's from the top of the 12th fret to the bottom of the string. Now there's not a lot of relief in there, so I'm going to measure the relief, and I like the relief to be round about 0.2 at the 6th fret, or between the 5th and 7th frets. So let me get 0.2 or even 0.25, it depends what action I'm looking for. Go with 0.25, see where we are. Right, we're just brushing the base there, so I'm quite happy with that. So now I need to get my 0.3, which is here. I'm going to measure feeler gauge, and we've got a big gap there, big gap there, big gap there. We're going 0.3, 0.28, 0.26, 0.24, 0.22, 0.2. So if we get to the thinner strings, we're going to go lower. The reason we do that is fat strings vibrate a lot, and they go up, down, left, right, and every angle you can think of, and thin strings don't, because they're unwound, so we can get close on this side. Their measurements just to get me close until I then fine tune everything a little bit later. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to measure these strings, because I don't know what set is on here. So I'm going to go into inches. I'm going to see what we're saying. I'm expecting a 1046 set. That's a 46. That's definitely a 10. So this should be a 13. That's a 13. That should be a 17. That is a 17. This should be a 28. It's a 25, isn't that? That's a bit thin. Whatever. Maybe it's a hybrid set. It's a 36, and this will be a 46. So 26, 36, 46 is what we're looking for there. Right, I'm happy with that. It's a 1046 set. So get that back into millimetres, turn that off, that can go away. Now I know what strings we've got. I can get the right gauge nut slot file. Now nut slot files, again, I buy the best tools. I was working out today how much I've spent on tools over the years, and I'm not quite sure, you know, but I've spent £400 this week just on 2 tools. Files can set you anywhere up to, well, the most expensive file I have is £125, and that's one of my most used ones. So let's have a look. These are going to correspond to each string. There's a set of Hosco files. Let me just bang them in there. Hosco there, we know that's quality, made in Japan. This is the 11th set. I think these cost me about 125 quid a few years ago. But you note the 2 thin wobbly files I'm going to need, the 10 and the 13. There's the 10, that's snapped at our end. That's in a Stumac holder to stop it going wibbly wobbly. Same with the 13. We're going to need a 17. Now I don't have a 17. The closest to it is a 16, so we'll just use the 16 and we'll wobble it a little. So there's the 10 there, 13 there, 17 there, we'll use the 16. Here, the closest we'll have here will be the 28, because that's a 26, 36, 46, so 28, 46, and I will have a 36 in here somewhere, and a 36. So each file will cut to the string slot. Now, the reason we buy these is because these are the very best you can get Hosco. That's a 0.046, which corresponds to the width of the string. Now these files are stainless steel, they are fantastic. These cut a perfect U shape or a semicircle shape, and the string will fit exactly the width of this file. And all I have to do when I'm cutting it is, now remember I've got to cut this to length, so what I don't want to do is, two things I don't want to do. One, I don't want to angle that wrong and cut into the frets because it'll scratch the frets and then I'll have to polish them and get the scratches out. And two, I don't want to go too deep. If I go too deep, I'll be taking that nut out and putting a new one in. So what we do is we check where we are, and with the experience we've garnered over years, we are just going to gently backwards and forwards cut that nut slot, and we're going to flip over. Now these nuts are a self-lubricating nut, and all we're going to do is we're going to blow out, and we are just going to keep measuring. We'll know we've gone flatter now because we're a D sharp, we were an E before, so we'll keep it in tune. I'm plugged into a rack tuner on the bench over there, and we take our feeler gauge and we check the gap, and we've still got a fair ways to go, so we carry on doing the same. I'll do this for each string. I'll also need to wipe the file each time I use it, otherwise it'll clag up. And again, just a few gentle strokes, make sure I'm going nice and straight, angle slightly back on the last one, and come in and check again. Look how this is going deeper into the slot. Well, flat again with D sharp sharp, right between a D and an E there. So we know we've cut into it because the note is detuned. And there we go, and measure again. We're getting closer to where we want to be. So again, clean the file. And keep cutting and checking, because these files are very, very sharp. And just to show you the size, look, 0.046. So it's the same width as the string. And what we're going to do again is make sure we are cutting in a straight line. I've got my thumb as a guide on the top of the fingerboard there. On my last stroke, I angle toward the tuning head, or the machine head, whatever you want to call it. I just call them tuners. And there you go, let's have a look. So I'm going to do this off camera. It's going to take me a good while. There's nothing quick about setting up guitars. Now, don't you think we sit here for 30 minutes setting a guitar and charging 85 quid for it? Because we don't. And there you go. Just started to buzz. We can go a little bit deeper, but I'm going to leave that one for now. I'm going to go and cut each one until I get as low as I want to be. Then I'm going to check my setup again, check the depth again, make sure everything's right. Once it is, we're going to remove the strings. We're going to file over the top of a nut to shape it to how we want it, so nothing looks untidy. I do like wound strings to be 2/3 in, and I like wound strings to be quite deep in a slot, so we still need to shape the top of that nut. I have a nut slots cut. I've stretched the strings in, and I'm just checking the amount of relief in the neck. Just altering the truss rod slightly, and that looks to be a little bit less than I would like. I would like about 0.2 millimeters about here, and that's pulling the not straight edge over, so I need to just slacken that off just a little bit. So that's about a 32th of a turn there, or 32nd wrong side, 24 3/4 inch scale length, you should know that. Of course, right, we're just gonna get in number 6 there, and it's just rocking the not straight edge. I'm happy with that. That is a very, very nice action. So we are just going to, now checking it lying down and checking it in playing position are two different things. It's a pretty good E. I've stretched the strings in. I do have a rack tuner. It's a Korg DTR 1000 Pro, I think. Paid well over the odds for that. A friend of mine said he'd pick up for about 40-50 quid. I paid 85 quid for it, but so we're just looking here. all nice and low. I'm going to check the action at the 12th fret. I think we're just about done. The only thing I've not checked yet is the intonation on this one, but then we will be done. Right, where is my... Here it is, under the guitar look. So I'd like to be about 1.6 millimetres at 12th fret on the bass side, and we're dead on at 1.5, a little bit low from our liking. With 1.5 on the treble side, I'm just going to bring us up slightly on the bass side. We're just a little bit over 1.5 there. I'm going to go about there, and I'm going to call that set up. So the intonation is way out, or was way out. I've got the last two strings. So I might as well do them on camera. And that is a cent sharp again, so we're going to lengthen. So I'm going to bring the saddle toward me, toward the bridge, or away from the neck. And the way I remember it is really easy. If a fretted note, when you've got it tuned in, if a fretted note is flat at the 12th fret, you move the saddle to the left if you're looking at it this way as a right-handed person, as I am. Let me just zoom out so you can see a little bit more. So I go in this way, so if a note is flat, we move the saddle to the left as I'm looking at it this way. Flat and left are 4 letters. If it's sharp, I move it to the right, the saddle to the right. So looking at it this way, move it to the right. Sharp and right are 5 letters, so I always know which way to move the saddle. So let's check again, the B. Perfect. And the E. Perfect. So we should have all of the strings now intonated correctly. G. Oops. A little bit flat on that one. I did adjust it quite a lot. So I'm just going to take the saddle back, and that should be just about there. And I'll check again. Beautiful. D. Nice. A. A little sharp there, so I'm just going to bring the saddle a little bit more toward me. Nice. And the E. That's it. So the intonation is set. So again, we're going to check a couple of things. We've got the intonation set. We've got the string slots cut at the neck end. We've got a right amount of relief in the neck. Just want to measure the height of the strings. The 12th fret on the bass side. We're about 1.6 on the treble side. We're about just under 1.5, so we should be set pretty well. So we should be a little bit sharp now because the guitar is laying down. We are a little sharp. Once I bring this to concert pitch, we'll be finished. So I've just loosened every string. I'm now in the playing position. And we are now in tune. Just got to put the truss rod cover back on. We can tie this video up and get this guitar back to its owner. And there we go, friends, and we are all done with this wonderful Gibson Les Paul. And look at that. I mean, what a beautiful looking thing. The weight of this is fantastic. But there you go, all done. This came in, all it needed a new nut, definitely. And it needed a settle. I've just set it up. The intonation was out. I've set the action how I like it. I've set the nut. I've cut the nut slots. Probably not as low as I can go, but there's always room for adjustment later on if the client wishes me to take them a little bit lower, which they could possibly go. But that has given me room for manoeuvrability there, or room for change. What a beautiful guitar. So now I've played this. I've had it plugged in. Sounds amazing. But there you go. All ready to go, and another project finished. So did it need anything else? No, it didn't need anything else at all. I've also scraped the fingerboard, got all the crud off there, polished the frets, only a quick polish, just to take any tarnish off there. I've scraped the fingerboard, oiled the neck, or oiled the fingerboard, so that's all ready to go. So that's playing really nice now. One thing with this, I personally think those frets are too flat. But that is my personal opinion. Now, if we start getting any buzzing down the line, it's going to be because of frets. They should be crowned like that, and these aren't. These are crowned. They're hardly crowned. They're sort of flat on the top, a little bit of crown on the edge. I think this may cause problems down the line, but if it does, we'll have it in. I'll do my fret level and reprofile, and I'll knock off 50 quid is already spent on the setup. Because normally I charge for a complete reprofile £135 with a setup. So I'll knock that £50 off. You can have it done for 85 quid. And I can't say fairer than that because it's a 4-hour job. But yeah, but there you go. What a beautiful guitar. All finished, ready to go. That just remains for me to just remind you my website before I go. So check me out, check what I do, check my videos. You can check me, I'm all over the internet. You can Google me, you can check me on YouTube, Fret Friend Guitar Workshop. Best place to catch any information about me is on Facebook, facebook.com/NG17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your Fret Friend. Until the next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next one.